And in general, I think in the whole world, because of climate change in the colder countries where I'm more aware of, also changes the way we use the public spaces. We use them also in a warmer way than we used to. So the parks are becoming more and more places of encounter, I feel, and of public culture.
Martin, what's your take on the current state of the public landscape in our cities?
I think that the state, I would say the significance of the public space, the awareness of the significance of the public space grew. For me, it has to do mainly with the events of Corona, in which specifically in Germany, our curfew wasn't as strong, but every public building was closed, every school was closed. However, the parks, the public spaces remained open and were allowed to be used. About how beautiful it was during Corona. Then you had the choirs rehearsing in the park. So you had all the public life suddenly displayed in one open place, no? So you had people doing sports, people dancing, people singing, people, I don't know, painting, So the idea that you had to get it was a kind of a coming out, So all your life was outside. And that, I think, showed to people how significant it is to have this kind of spaces. And in general, I think in the whole world, because of climate change in the colder countries where I'm more aware of, also changes the way we use the public spaces. We use them also in a warmer way than we used to. So we live more outside because of the climate change than we used to. So and also because of remote work, you can take your computer with you, your telephone. So the idea that you have to be based somewhere to work also changed, that the public space also becomes a working space, a leisure space, a gathering space, an encountering space. So I think that all these things are very positive. And I think that many public spaces administratively are run mistakenly. I think they should be taken care by Parks and Recreation administrations. I think that the parks and the public spaces should be maybe more of a part of an administration that would maybe take care of culture, of theaters, of museums. So the idea that the public space is a cultural space and not anymore maybe like it was in the 19th century, where the idea of the Volkspark, of the People's Park, would be this kind of place that you needed to recreate after you worked hard. But now you can take a plane. It's cheaper to take EasyJet to some bullshit beach to recreate. So the parks are becoming more and more places of encounter, I feel, and of public culture.
You've just reminded us that in a sense, to be part of society, the idea of the public originates from actually being outside and being in a shared outdoor space and seeing and being seen by others.
Absolutely. Also, the relation with the body is very important. There are barely places where we display our bodies, let's say, the way we do in the public space, doing sports, I don't know, laying on the sun. So the idea that also the body becomes as a social container, let's say, and not always covered and hidden behind walls, behind cloth, etc. And I think all that, to see each other slightly naked always creates a certain trust. When people do picnic and eat, when people do sports, when people move, dance, whatever, go for walks, it creates a sense of community, of accidental community. And this kind of trust you can create in these public spaces is something very needed in societies where we have a tendencies of tribalization, of separation, of solitude, etc. So in that and I think it's incredibly relevant space, and not anymore. Or the idea of the park being recreational in the time of the industrialization, I think, changed dramatically, and it's much more a social, cultural space where you can display. If you go to Tempelhof, it's a city theater. You see people performing as much as other people enjoying the performance of other people. So the idea that you can be performer and viewer in the same time is very much our time. Is Instagram, but alive.
Martin, what role does or do public elements, physical elements like furniture, like lighting, like shading, play in the shaping of a project? How active are they? Are they part of your conceptual development, or are they an afterthought?
I love to do these benches where you only have, if possible, only one choice to sit in one place, even if it's very big, no? Because then you have to sit with everyone, and we are all in a boat somehow. So it's nice to feel it, and not to do, I don't know, 20 benches, and then everyone can still sit alone and not having that sense of being together. So this is, for example, something very simple example. And if you do it in places where this seclusion is even religious or politically motivated, it's even a bit subversive, no? So if you offer only one bench to sit down and not several, then so that shows a bit how relevant the ways you use furniture can be. Or you use benches that are not comfortable, or where you have to sit informally, or you use benches in which you stapple. You have a tribune. I don't know. The options that we have are so enormous that. But I think that you can use them to manipulate in a good way space strongly, especially benches. When it comes to light, obviously you can do scenographic lighting, etc. I'm not so fond of all these things, but the sense of security and also depends on the place you work in. You work in very hot countries, lighting becomes more relevant because people use the spaces at night when it's cooling. So it's also part of what you do. I was in Buenos Aires in Argentina some months ago, and they have lamps actually on the lawns. I never seen that. So big lawn to lay down actually, or to play, or to sit, or to enjoy lying on the grass. But you do that at night. But because you feel insecure, it has a light, so it's actually quite fun.
Do you think there's a particular value in European design production, Martin? And if so, what is it?
The richness of in general of European products is the diversity of cultures dealing with them. No, in Europe we unite very different cultures as of public space. No, we have cities in very, very different scales, and all of them, specifically in the south, are urban in terms of let's say that meeting people, gathering, encountering each other is very much a part of everyday culture, and that is being mirrored by the products that European companies do that are often quite innovative and can be beautiful. And the European market, obviously, the EU creating a common market also creates opportunities to use all these products without having to have extra, let's say, tax on it, no?